Welcome back to the island, friends. Today we're rolling up our sleeves and getting busy because we're preparing the next 3 housing plots for our incoming villagers. That means materials to gather, spaces to shape, and a whole lot of cozy chaos along the way. So grab a cup of something warm, settle in, and let's keep building this little world one plot at a time. Before we head over to Tom Nook to kick off the whole "please build housing for more villagers" questline, I'm starting my morning the only way you should on a rainy day in Animal Crossing, by wandering around, picking fruit, pulling weeds, and digging up every fossil in sight. It's our first rainy morning on the island, and honestly, these vibes are immaculate. But before I run over to check out our brand new Nook's Cranny, because yes, it finally opened and I'm very excited, I want to make sure my pockets are full of goodies to sell. Bells don't make themselves. When we step inside the brand new Nook's Cranny, we catch Timmy and Tommy deep in conversation with someone we haven't seen on the island before. A brand new face, a brand new mystery, and honestly, I wasn't expecting company this early in the morning. We learned that this new face is none other than Mabel, and the boys are persuading her to set up shop on our little island since, let's be honest, Nook's Cranny does many things, but selling clothes is not one of them. I'm honestly thrilled she's here. My outfit has been held together by hopes, dreams, and Tom Nook's good graces, and I think Mabel knows it too. She gives me this polite little smile as she walks past me, the kind of smile that says, "Sweetie, please let me help you." Once Mabel heads off, Timmy and Tommy turn their attention back to us, thanking us again for all the help we gave in getting their shop built. It's sweet. Every time they mention it, they look so proud of their little store. With the pleasantries out of the way, I unload our entire morning haul. Fruit, weeds, shells, basically anything that wasn't nailed down. Once our pockets are finally empty, I take a look around to see what they've got in stock today. A fresh set of wallpaper catches my eye, and, well, self-control has never been my strong suit, so with my purchase in hand, I head back out to continue the day's quest. Before we move on, it's time to collect a few Nook miles. I collect some for selling weeds, some for selling fruit, and a few extra for spending bells inside the shop. When I step out of Nook's Cranny, I immediately notice something exciting. My villagers have upgraded from tents to actual houses. Of course, I have to go say hi, so I pop into Scoot's new place first. He is beyond pumped to finally have a home of his own, and honestly, his enthusiasm is kind of infectious. I step back outside, and that's when I hear it, the faint, angry buzzing coming from somewhere under my feet. I follow the sound, digging around until finally a mole cricket arrives, which I managed to catch, by the way. With my latest critter secured, I sprint over to the museum to donate it to Blathers, who, as expected, is less than thrilled to meet it. While I'm there, I also get all the fossils I dug up this morning assessed and ready to display. I head back home for a moment and put up my brand new wallpaper, finally giving my little house a little bit of personality. Then it's right back outside to make the daily rounds and smack every rock on this island like my life depends on it. On the way, I shoot down a passing balloon because you never know when a present might be something cute or another clay. But this time I lucked out and it was some bells, so it's very exciting. A few rocks later, I strike gold, literally finding my money rock for the day. As I'm making my way down the beach, I spot Gulliver, face down in the sand, absolutely out cold. After several very gentle attempts to wake him, by which I mean poking him repeatedly, we finally managed to get him up. He asked us to help him track down his missing communicator parts so he could call for a rescue, which of course we agreed to. I do genuinely love some of the items Gulliver sends as thank you gifts, but digging around the shoreline for communicator parts, not always my favorite pastime. It's basically a non-stop round of, is this a part or is this just another clam? So we add Find Gulliver's parts to today's ever-growing to-do list and head back to resident services. Before we start digging half the beach up, I absolutely need more pocket space because those clams are definitely going to pile up. We cash in a few Nook miles for that inventory upgrade, and now we're finally ready to get back to the hunts. Before heading off to search for Gulliver's communicator parts, I talked to Tom about holding a ceremony for the grand opening of our museum. Because yes, I might be stalling on the whole dig around the beach for mystery tech pieces situation, but honestly, Blathers deserves this moment. Tom agrees right away, and we gather everyone to celebrate this big milestone for the island. Am I stalling helping Gulliver? Maybe just a tiny bit. But listen, Blathers worked hard for this, and I'm not about to skip out on a chance to celebrate my favorite sleepy scholar. So we head over to mark the moment properly, fully knowing that Gulliver is still snoring away on the sand somewhere, waiting for us to dig up tech pieces he probably dropped everywhere. But priorities are priorities. Museum celebration first. Blather says a few words, I say a few words, we all say a few words, and pop our party poppers in celebration. With the museum ceremony all wrapped up, it's finally time to get back to the real task of the day, getting started on building a bridge, which just so happens to be step one toward setting up our next 3 housing plots. This is the main focus of the episode, so it's time to roll up our sleeves. Tom hands over the bridge construction kit recipe, and with that in hand, I head back out to gather materials. We'll need 4 log stakes, one of my absolute favorite items for decorating, along with some clay and stone. Luckily, we already have the clay and stone from hitting all our rocks earlier this morning, so it's the wood we're missing. And it's time to grab the axe and start chopping some trees. While I'm out here working through the forest, I also take the time to dig up a few trees and move them around the museum area. Just a tiny bit of natural decorating to make the space feel more lived in as Blather settles into his new home. As I continue to chop trees and gather wood, tragedy strikes. I completely forget to shake the tree before taking an axe to it, and of course, down drops my first wasp's nest of the day. I try to get my net out in time, but nope. The wasps win this round. I get stung square in the face, leaving me with that classic one-eyed, lopsided Animal Crossing swelling. But I'm not letting a little facial trauma slow me down. I shake it off literally and emotionally and finish chopping the last few trees I need before making my way back to resident services. Once I'm there, I craft all 4 of our log stakes and put together the bridge construction kit. Bridge prep complete, even if my dignity took a little hit along the way. Instead of placing the bridge right away, I make my way down toward the entrance to squeeze in a little more natural decorating. Because if there's one thing about me, it's that I will start decorating the second I get an opportunity. I place the extra set of log stakes I crafted and start shifting some flowers and trees around to make the area feel a bit more lived in. While I'm digging up flowers, I end up catching my very first praying mantis of the series, which honestly feels like a win after the whole wasp situation. And then I run into my sweet baby Scoot, who notices my very swollen eye and immediately feels terrible about it. To make sure I don't suffer again, he gives me the crafting recipe for some medicine. My hero. I add craft some medicine for my face onto my to-do list, and then continue fussing around with the entrance decoration, just giving the area a little love before we move on. I dig up a few more flowers and place down some of the preloaded coals in the ground. None of this is permanent, of course. It's more like a rough draft for the island's future look. But even these small touches help the island feel more pulled together, and it gives me a better sense of how I want the space to evolve, especially once we finally unlock terraforming. For now, it's all about experimenting, rearranging, and laying the groundwork for the bigger builds to come. Before finally getting around to placing our bridge, I make a quick stop by Tom's tent to craft some much-needed medicine. Once my face is looking a little less wasp-kissed, we head back out to finally choose the perfect spot for our very first bridge. With the bridge placed down, I head straight back to Tom to report that construction is officially underway. While I'm there, I borrow his DIY bench to whip up a few more items to decorate the entrance, and replace a couple of tools that didn't survive all that chopping, digging, and general island chaos. I make my way back toward the front of the island to drop down a hay bale and plant a couple of more trees, just little touches to start pulling the area together even more. Once everything is settled, I head back towards the museum to donate a few of the new bugs I caught along the way. Blathers, as always, is both grateful and mildly horrified, which honestly just makes donating things even more fun. I am so sorry, Blathers. We can cry about tarantulas together later. I then head up back to my bridge to plant a few trees around it. I pop a balloon, getting another one of the most coveted mushroom items, the mush stool, which I will be placing pretty much everywhere, I think. After that, I then head off to Timmy and Tommy to sell them some of the junk that I've collected along the way, freeing up some much needed pocket space. With my pockets a little less full and a few more bells to my name, it's finally time. The moment I've been avoiding, the task I've danced around all day. It's communicator part time. Still, a promise is a promise, and our sleepy castaway is counting on us, so with a deep breath and a freshly expanded inventory, I finally get to work hunting down those parts I've put off long enough. I make quick work of digging around the shoreline and manage to track down all of Gulliver's communicator parts. Once I hand them over, he immediately gets to work reassembling his poor sand-soaked phone. Somehow, miraculously, it springs back to life and he's able to send a message off to his crew. With that handled, I know I can carry on with my day, knowing our seafaring friend will be rescued. Eventually. As I make my way back to resident services, I run into Scoot, who is absolutely bursting with excitement. He rushes over to me, flapping his little wings, and announces that he just has to teach me something new. And that's when we learn the joy reaction. With our freshly unlocked reaction in hand, we head back on our way, feeling just a little bit brighter than before. We talk to Tom and he hands over the 3 housing kits we'll need to get started. These are the big ones, the plots that will bring in our next wave of villagers. Each kit comes with its own list of interior and exterior items we'll need to craft, so this is where the real grind of the episode officially begins. With the 3 housing kits in hand, I head out to figure out where these new villagers are actually going to live. Originally, I really wanted to place all 3 plots down on the beaches, keeping things tidy, keeping things temporary, keeping things easy. But the moment I pull out the housing kit, I realize, yeah, that's not happening. Because of all the outdoor items each plot requires, the boundary is way bigger than normal. There was just no way to squeeze everything onto the beach layout I had planned. So we switched to plan B, placing the plots behind Nook's Cranny and the other villagers' homes for now. It works, it fits, and honestly, it'll be fine. Even if I am already mourning the future bell bills I'll be paying whenever I move every single one of those houses back to the beach. But that's future Pixel's problem. For now, the plots are placed, and we can finally start prepping them for our new residents. With the exterior items for plot 1 and 2 already placed, I make my way back to resident services to finish things up for plot 3. I stop by Tom's DIY bench and start crafting the remaining exterior items, checking them off one by one so we can at least check off everything exterior. I then go and grab myself a Nook Miles ticket. A few of the interior items for our new plots need peaches. Peaches that I definitely sold earlier this morning without thinking, so I'm hoping a mystery island can come to the rescue. If I can snag a few, we'll be able to finish setting up all 3 plots today. And hey, if we happen to stumble into a cute villager while we're out there, well, that's just a bonus win for the island. We head on down to the airport and let Orville know we're ready to fly. He gets us set up straight away. No delays, no turbulence, just pure dodo efficiency. When we land though, it becomes immediately clear that this island is overflowing with not peaches. Great for bells, not so great for the one crafting recipe I'm trying to finish today. However, I'm not going to let the lack of peaches get me down, So I start gathering every resource this island has to offer: wood, stone, weeds, anything that isn't nailed down. And of course, I go hunting for the villager who's calling this place home for the day. And our luck starts to turn around when I spot Bianca hanging out near the trees, looking absolutely adorable. She's not on our long-term villager list and won't be staying forever, but she is ridiculously cute. So naturally, I invite her to move to the island. Sometimes you just have to follow your heart. And today, my heart said, take the cute snow leopard. Once my pockets are sufficiently stuffed with resources, I let Wilbur know I'm ready to head back home. Back on Briarwood, I step off the plane a little disappointed about the lack of peaches, but feeling good about all the materials and our newest future resident we managed to snag on this mystery island run. I make a beeline to Nook's Cranny to sell off the pears I collected. Since they aren't our native fruit, we earn extra bells for them, which is always a win. I of course kept a few to plant around the island so we can keep harvesting them for even more bells down the line. I then head over to Resident Services to craft all the interior items that I do have materials for. Even though I'm still missing those peaches, I'm determined to get as much done as possible. So I start knocking out every recipe I can. Little by little, the furniture piles up, and we're inching closer to getting those plots fully prepped for our incoming villagers. I drop off the last of the interior furniture for plot 2, officially completing all of its requirements. It's such a relief marking another plot off the list, and I waste no time hurrying back to Resident Services to share the good news with Tom. He's thrilled, of course, and lets us know that someone new could move in as soon as tomorrow. And honestly, that little spark of excitement never gets old. Every new villager feels like another tiny chapter being added to the story of our island, even if we have no idea who's going to show up yet. While I'm still at Resident Services, I take advantage of Tom's DIY bench to craft the last of the furniture pieces I need for plot 3. Once everything is finished, I hurry over to the plot and place the items in the box outside of it. The housing kit is finally complete, another home ready to go. With the third plot complete, I have one more stop before I wrap up the day, the museum. I swing by to drop off the little snail I picked up earlier, making sure Blathers gets one more critter for his ever-growing collection. With that donation done, I finally head home and skip ahead to the next day. We start the next day the same way we always do, tuning in for Tom's daily announcements. And today he brings some exciting news. Bianca has officially moved to the island. It's so satisfying to know that all the hard work from yesterday actually paid off. And knowing that one of our plots is now filled makes the island feel just a little more alive. I head on down to properly welcome Bianca to the island. On my way, I notice that the third housing plot has a sold sign out front. Naturally, I hold my breath as I check the name because autofills can be an adventure. And it's Callie! The squirrels are my absolute favorite villagers, so seeing her name on that sign genuinely makes my whole morning. I'm pretty happy with the autofill gods today. I get to work on collecting the rest of the resources for the last plot. While I'm up on the cliff digging up trees, I notice a very sketchy looking boat parked just offshore. That can only mean one thing. Red has finally arrived to peddle his totally not counterfeit art. I quickly make my way down to the beach and spot Red wandering around like he owns the place. After introducing myself, he gives me the whole trustworthy businessman spiel and tells me to check out his boat, which is docked up on the North Shore. So naturally, I head straight back up there and climb aboard, ready to scope out his exclusive art collection. Inside the boat, I'm immediately hit with that classic Red energy. Dim lights, dramatic music, and prices that absolutely should be illegal. He gives me his whole cousin special deal just for you routine, while I take a look around at the art he has for sale. Now, the first piece of art you buy from Red is always real. It's his way of building trust before he starts trying to scam you with all those forgeries later on. I decide to grab the graceful painting, mostly because it's one I always struggle to track down a genuine copy of once the full art rotation starts. If he's offering me a guaranteed real one now, I'm taking it. I then take a look at the furniture items he has for sale, a cuckoo clock and a garden lamp, both of which I pick up before saying goodbye to my sketchy cousin and heading on with my day. I then actually get to welcoming Bianca to the island since admittedly I got a little too distracted earlier by the pure joy of discovering that Callie would be moving in. Bianca is still settling into her home and she's just as sweet and energetic as I remembered. I properly say hello and welcome her to Briarwood. With Bianca officially welcomed and settling into her new home, I make my way over to the museum to drop off today's fossils. Fathers does his usual excited gasp when he sees what I've brought, and after assessing each one, I hand over the donations he's missing. I then visit Timmy and Tommy to clear out some pocket space and pad out my bank account. I stop by Phoebe's house next, and lucky for me, she's in the middle of crafting. That means one thing: free DIY. She hands over the recipe for an iron shelf, such a good one, and I happily add it to my ever-growing collection before heading back out to continue today's work. I then head over to check out our new bridge. It looks so good finally being in place, and it's going to make running around the island so much easier. After admiring it for a moment, I make my way back to resident services to craft the last few furniture pieces I still need. With everything finally ready, I talk to Tom about holding a ceremony for the bridge's completion. Another big step forward for Briarwood. And honestly, I'll take any excuse to pop another party popper. Bianca is at the ceremony and it's so cute to see all three of our villagers gathering together to celebrate a bridge that, let's be honest, I will most likely demolish in the future. But for now, we're soaking in the moment. The ceremony goes just like the others. Tom says a few words, we all nod along proudly, and then we pop those party poppers in unison to mark another milestone for Briarwood. After the ceremony, I make my way down toward the housing plots to drop off the very last pieces of furniture. With the peach items finally delivered, we are officially done with all 3 plots. It took a full day of gathering, crafting, problem solving, dodging wasps, bribing Tom Nook with bells, and completely ignoring Gulliver for way longer than I should have. But the housing plots are done, and tomorrow our new villagers can finally start moving in. I of course have to make my way back over to Tom to gloat. I worked hard and I want him to acknowledge all my hard work. As a token of appreciation, he hands me some fence pieces, which naturally means more work for me since I'm the one who has to now place the fence. He also lets me know he'll start offering different fence recipes at the Nook stop. The simple wooden fence isn't the style I plan to use for this island long term, but it'll do for now. And honestly, every single piece I place gets us one step closer to that 3-star rating. On my way out of resident services, I run into Scoot, who is very excited to fill me in on his and Phoebe's new plan to get more people to move to Briarwood. Decorating. He insists that adding more cool stuff around the island will help attract villagers, and honestly, he's not wrong. To help kickstart this little beautification effort, he hands over a utility pole, which is both incredibly random and incredibly Scoot. Naturally, I take it straight over behind resident services and place it down. One more item towards that 3-star goal, and one more reminder that Scoot is truly doing his best out here. I then get to work placing fencing and trees around resident services. I want the whole area to feel more surrounded by nature and less like Tom just bulldozed an entire grove to set up his tent. I'm not going too wild with the decorating yet, since I plan on building cliffs here once we unlock terraforming tools. But Briarwood is destined to become a forestcore island, so adding a little hint of woodland charm this early on definitely won't hurt. A few trees here, some fencing there, just enough to soften the space and give resident services a more lived-in, tucked into the woods feeling. I then make my way down to Callie's house to give her a little bit of a yard and finally clear away some of the bulkier furniture we had to place down to set up the plots in the first place. It already feels so much nicer now that the space can breathe a little. Then it's back up to resident services to place a few cedar trees, just enough to start shaping the forest vibe I want for this island later, before skipping ahead to the next day. Tom is looking extra cozy in the newly decorated plaza as he kicks off the morning announcements. I'm also thrilled to see that Mabel has returned to set up shop. I can't wait to check out what she's brought with her today. And as if that wasn't enough excitement, our sweet baby Pudge has officially moved on to the island. Tom also mentions that he'll be hosting a customization workshop later, but we'll save that little adventure for the next episode. With the announcements wrapped up, I make my way over to welcome Pudge to Briarwood. He's already settling into his new home, and it's honestly adorable seeing him get so comfy so quickly. I'm looking forward to playing with you every day, Pudge. I then make my way over to the plaza to see what Mabel has set up for the day. She's got her little stand all ready to go. Fabric stacked neatly, clothes hung up like tiny works of art, and that big friendly smile she always gives when she's in a traveling merchant mode. I take my time browsing because, let's be honest, fashion options on Briarwood have been limited. Mabel really came through though. There are actually choices today. Colors, patterns, pieces I can already imagine building outfits around. So naturally, I start buying anything even remotely cute. If it sparks joy, it's coming home with me. By the time I'm done, my pockets are lighter, my wardrobe is happier, and I'm already mentally planning tomorrow's outfit. Thank you, Mabel. You truly are the island's unsung style savior. As I'm making my way through the plaza, I run into Phoebe, and just like Scoot, she's got decor on the brain. She gives me a street lamp, insisting that it'll make Briarwood feel more inviting. And honestly, she's absolutely right. Even better, I know exactly where I want to put it. Not behind her house, but right at the entrance, tucked behind the very spot she was standing. It's the perfect little touch to brighten the path and make the front of the island feel more lived in and welcoming. As I continue on my morning rounds, I stop in to say hello to Bianca, and she's crafting again. But this time, it's actually a recipe I don't have yet, so I happily scoop it up. Bianca may not be staying forever, but if she wants to keep blessing me with fresh DIYs, she can camp out at that workbench as long as she wants. As I'm wandering around the island, I run into none other than Harv, our sweet, free-spirited hippie doggo. He's as mellow as ever, telling me all about how he lives on an island not too far from ours and that he's putting together a little artist commune. Very on brand for him. Harv's Island is going to be crucial when we get deeper into decorating, but we're not heading there today. But I'm absolutely marking it on the to-do list. We then make our way over to the museum to drop off today's fossils and to finally hand over the painting we bought from Red yesterday. Blathers, as always, is delighted to receive more contributions for the collection. I then make my way down to Nook's Cranny to offload even more of my miscellaneous garbage, valuable island resources to Timmy and Tommy. With a little extra pocket space and a few more bells added to the bank, I take a moment to browse their shelves and end up grabbing a handful of flowers to plant around the island. A little extra greenery never hurts, especially with how much decorating we still have ahead of us. With my pockets a little lighter and a bundle of new blooms in hand, I get right to planting. Flowers may seem small, but every little sprout adds to our island's overall beauty rating. And even though we won't be able to check our actual island score until Isabel eventually moves in, it never hurts to get ahead of the game. A few clusters here, a tidy line there. It's the start of Briarwood feeling just a little more alive. I mix and match a few varieties, tucking them near paths, around trees, and anywhere that looks a little bare. It's small work, but it adds up quickly. And once they bloom, we'll love seeing the tiny pops of color slowly transform our little island into something that feels more lived in and loved. I spot and catch my first orchid mantis. It feels like a little good luck sign. I also dig up a few trees and tuck them into new spots to help the island feel a bit more balanced. And with that small bit of cozy tidying done, it's time to move on to the next day. The next morning, Tom greets us with his announcements as usual, but he sounds extra chipper today, which usually means something big is happening. He lets us know that Callie has officially moved onto the island and then casually drops the real bombshell. Resident services will be closed tomorrow for construction. Not just any construction, the construction. We're talking full building upgrade, fancy desk, new services, and of course the arrival of Isabel herself. After announcements wrap up, I check my mailbox and find a little gift waiting from Luna, my very own bed, which means Dream Islands have been officially unlocked. I wander over to the plaza where Leaf is happily waiting for me. He's always got this calming forest spirit energy, like if a cozy blanket became a person. I chat with him for a bit. Of course, I can't resist picking up a handful of goodies. I grab some tomato starts for our future little farm patch and a few bushes to help fill out the more natural corners of Briarwood. Crops are a really great way to make some bells early game, so every time he visits, we're gonna have to grab a few more. Also, since he buys weeds for double what Timmy and Tommy offer, I hand over a mountain of weeds I picked off camera. I literally went to every corner of this island and picked every weed just to sell it to him. And Leaf was absolutely delighted. Like I brought him the crown jewels instead of a bundle of dandelions. And honestly, his enthusiasm makes the whole exchange feel magical. Armed with new plants and a few extra bells, I'm ready to start shaping the island into something lush and dreamy. With my pockets full of new leafy treasures, I get to work turning Briarwood into the little forest garden dream I know it can be. I start by tucking the tomato starts in the soil, giving each one a cozy spot to grow. Then I plant the bushes I picked up from Leaf, little puffs of green that already make the island feel softer, sweeter, and just a touch more magical. And because I can never resist just a little more charm, I sprinkle in a few flowers around the area too. They instantly brighten everything up like tiny confetti blooms cheering me on. Once everything is planted and looking adorable, I head off to officially welcome Callie to the island. She's still in boxes for now, but she'll be all settled in before we know it, and I'm already so excited to have her here. From there, I pop next door to visit our crafting queen, Bianca, who's busy whipping up a foxtail DIY. Of course, I snatch that recipe immediately. Bianca stays feeding my crafting addiction, and honestly, I love her for it. After studying our new DIY, we head over to check on our sweet baby Scoot, only to find out that he's sick. My heart drops. He's sitting there sniffling, sounding all stuffy, looking at me with those big hopeful eyes. That's it. I'm gone. I will not allow my precious baby duck to suffer. I immediately sprint to Nook's cranny like my life depends on it, buy him some medicine, and rush it right back to him. No villager of mine is staying sick on my watch. Not on Briarwood. Not today. Not ever. He perks up almost instantly after taking it, giving us that relieved little smile and thanking us for looking after him. He even promises to help us if we ever get sick, which is honestly the cutest empty promise of all time, but we'll let him have this win. I then unfortunately lost the footage for the rest of the day, but you really didn't miss much. I crafted a DIY bench so we'll have one ready to go when resident services is closed tomorrow, and I also upgraded our house, which will be finished tomorrow. So with all that handled, I'll leave you with some group stretching goodness to close out the day. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, stay curious, stay gaming, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!